excited to share with you another installment in the Expert Interview Series. Today we're going to have Tait, a longtime elder and member from OneHive. We're going to go behind the scenes in OneHive, a popular war clan, and we're going to find out war strategy, recruitment, base design, and so much more. So go ahead, guys, and enjoy the interview. And if you have any more expert interview suggestions, go ahead and comment them below. Take care, guys. Hey guys, Ashlane here. I am very happy to be with Tait from OneHive today. He is the host of the SNH Podcast. And Tait, how you doing, man?
I'm good. It's a wonderful summer evening here, enjoying the weather, enjoying the day. How about yourself?
Same. I'm over on the East Coast. I think you are too, so it is really hot right now, heat wave.
Yeah, I'm in upstate New York, and we're like 90 and humid as balls, so just kind of the way it goes.
Same here, my friend. So I was lucky. I had a great time being on your podcast. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your podcast, where we can find it, and how often you release episodes?
Sure. Well, it's called Saturday Night Hive. You were just on the 15th episode. I started it about 3 months ago.
Okay.
I try to do about one a week. Sometimes I'll get two in, but typically one. And you can either go on iTunes and just search Saturday Night Hive, and you'll find it. Or you can go to the OneHive website, and under more, it'll say podcast, or you can do onehiveclan.com/podcast, and you can find it there.
Okay, great. And what type of content do you say you cover there mostly? Is it obviously wars type guests? And
yeah, I try to. There's about 5 or 6 total podcasts, and a Clash of Clans themed one. And I try to focus a little more on the war aspect, being that I've been in OneHive, which is a fairly well-known war clan, and I've been there for a year and a half. So I've got a pretty good view of what the war scene is like and the inner workings of it. So I definitely focus on that, but I also try to have interesting people on. Like I recently had on 2 girls from the Clash Babes, that thing, and I'm going to have a couple pretty big pushers coming on from kind of the top of the leaderboard soon. So I'm going to try to branch out, but definitely war is my focus.
Awesome. Yeah, it was a lot of fun we had like a roundtable 3-person discussion when I was on, and I had a great time. So you guys should definitely check that out. Now, as far as OneHive goes, you said you were there for a year and a half.
Yeah, my story, I don't know, well, Jake's maybe mentioned it before, but Jake and I randomly met as like Town Hall 4s in an Arkansas-themed clan. I just joined it randomly off Global, and he joined it because he was from Arkansas. And then we basically have been there all the way up through Town Hall 8, and then we decided that it just wasn't working out anymore in this kind of family clan. And then we joined OneHive about a year ago, well, a year and a half ago at this point. We kind of been there ever since. So it's just complete random luck.
Crazy. That's crazy.
Yep.
I have a similar story. It's just so funny how I found some of my very first co-leaders now. I found in a random clan very similar to that, way back when we had no clue what we were doing,
Yeah, it's just complete happenstance, but it worked out well.
Well, I know the viewers are eager to, learn some OneHive inside stuff as far as war strategy goes and your attacks. So why don't we start with the actual war strategy? Like, how do you guys decide, first of all, who sits in wars, and how do you organize your clan wars as far as different town hall levels?
Well, we've been changing recently. Over the last month and a half, we've gone from 3 to 4 Town Hall 10s up to 12 or 13. So we've gotten a lot heavier now, so we can match pretty much all the mixed clans at this point if we want to. So in terms of who we sit and stuff, for general wars, like right now, in 5 minutes we're about to start a random war. Basically, everyone's in, and we will kind of drag in some minis to make a round number of 5. But for arranged matchups, that one is going to be dependent on. So we'll use our numbers, and if we need to, we'll pull in some people from OneHive Genesis, one of our sister clans, to kind of match weights. And that one's up to the leaders and co-leaders who they're going to put in each spot to kind of match. So, general wars, pretty much everyone's in, and then I would say 90% of people get in for the arranged matchups, like the one we just had this weekend versus FYSB.
Okay, yeah. I know there's been a lot of attention around those arranged matchups for sure. Do you guys just basically make sure the clans weigh the same and click at the same time? Is that
That is it. I will give credit to our leader, Plow. He was on one of my episodes. He organizes it all, and we've been doing a lot recently. And yeah, so basically, they'll get on like a Google document. They'll have chat going on, or they'll be talking through some sort of communication thing like Skype or whatever.
Mhm.
And they're going to plan out the numbers to make a match. So actually, the people who've been getting the short end of the stick is the .5s because they're really difficult to match, like war-wise, and so they're the ones who actually have to sit most often now. But yeah, basically, they get on a document together or in a chat room or something, and they'll once they get all the numbers set and the time set, they'll press the button and pray pretty much.
Okay, now you mentioned the .5s. I guess I should ask a follow-up question. Now, I'm under the impression that wherever they fall on the war map is exactly what their weight is, relative to the person above and below them. Is that not the case, or is it just?
Oh no, it definitely is the case. The problem is when you're trying to set up like a fair war, you don't want to have a bunch of guys
Okay,
that count super low. So like the
I
guys,
getcha.
yeah. So we'll actually just sit them out because it makes it unfair. I mean, it still is an advantage. It's not quite as big as it used to be, but it still is definitely an advantage.
Of course. Do you guys recommend all your when they are town hall upgrading to make sure they go .5 in OneHive?
We used to.
Mhm.
We've kind of there was a lot. I don't know. I think it was maybe a patch or two ago when they increased all the weight for the heroes and for the walls,
Mhm.
and we basically noticed that the benefit wasn't as good as it was before. So pretty much our rule, and I don't know if you count this as a .5, but this is what I would do no matter what. Do your offense first, and then do your defense, and that's pretty much the way we've always done it.
Okay,
So
yeah, makes sense.
yeah.
Now, I just wanted to ask you, I guess I probably should ask you beforehand, but I know OneHive is a super, super popular, well-known clan in the game, probably one of the most popular war clans. What is your recruitment process in OneHive? I know that it's pretty involved, or I guess more involved than your average clan. Can you tell us a little bit about how you guys
Yeah.
go about it?
Well, first of all, I'll give credit to the people that do it. Currently, Lord Byron and Cheatham are doing it for us, and I did it for about 3 months, and it's a tireless process because it is a very long thing. You first go to our website, and there's some basic questions. We like to see some pictures of your profile with your picture, or your troop pictures and all that shit, so we can see where you're at. And then there's some questions like, what type of strategies do you do? Or we'll send you a picture of a base and say, how would you try to hit this?
Okay.
And if you make it through that first phase, and that can take like 4 to 5 weeks. I mean, that's a long time for some people.
Okay.
Then you get to go to step one, which is our step one clan, where you actually got to first you'll do your first set of attacks there for, I don't know, 3-4 wars. So same thing. That's another week or two. Then if things go well, you move up to Genesis, where you'll continue warring, maybe with a little higher town hall weights. And then for some people, that's where they're going to stop because they want to stay at Genesis. Other people want to go all the way to 1.0, and that's the path. 2.0 has a similar thing where they go through Invicta and then to 2.0, but the idea is pretty much the same. It's for some people it can be like a 6-week process from beginning to end if it's going to work out or not.
Okay, very cool. Have you ever had a situation where one player is just so unbelievably good that they just get, speed passed, or does everybody go through this?
Yes.
Okay.
No,
Fair.
there is some speed passing, not a lot, but
Yeah.
we have some lines of communication with a lot of the other clans, and I mean, recently we lost a bunch of guys to the Black Lodge, but then we took in about 4 or 5 of their guys coming back the other way. So, like, we have kind of some trading that goes on a little. I don't know if trading's the right word, but there are some speed passes, as you would say, where you
Okay.
can go straight from one clan to the other if leadership agrees to it. So
Okay.
not everyone has to do that.
So kind of when you have a feel for their reputation or their abilities beforehand, I'm sure helps out.
Yeah. So I mean, like, Timmy, the leader of the Black Lodge, said that Rat or Ritin Tintin is awesome, and we're like, okay, he's straight in, and so we'll just. So
Okay.
there are some exceptions, but yeah.
Okay, I gotcha. So as far as attacking strategies go, I know obviously you're trying to 3-star as much as possible, especially at the Town Hall 9 level. Are there any strategies you don't allow? Obviously, attacks like Go Wipe and whatnot have a really bad rap for good reason because it's difficult to get 3 stars with them in most cases. Are there strategies you just absolutely don't allow?
That's a very good question, and I think it depends on the Town Hall level. So Town Hall 9s, a straight go wipe isn't going to fly. I mean, you have to have back end something if you're going to do an attack like that. If you're going to go with a go wipe, and maybe there's a reason. Maybe the buildings are spread out nice, and maybe one jump will open up 2/3 of the base or something. Then a go wipe with 8 back end loons is viable. But if you're just going to try to blunt force it, and you're going to hit a wall, that's not going to fly in our clan. Town Hall 10 is another game. A lot of our guys are shooting for 2 stars on our first attack until we can get the map 2-starred, which we'll do pretty quickly. Then we'll try to lay out some 3-star hits. And so same thing on those 2 stars. Some people like go wipe. I myself, I actually use one of the strategies you highlighted. The 7 golem 4 jump has been my go-to. I've gone. Let's see, 17 of my last 18 attacks have been easy 2 stars with it. I had one fail.
Yeah, some people don't like that. They say it gets a bad rap because, but it's very, very effective. So I've used it myself. I try to get, especially those resource ring bases. That's my number one thing. I look for them. If I see one, I'm like, okay, that's easy 4 jump. It's just so easy to funnel the troops to the center. So that's cool. That's your go-to. I guess I wanted to ask about the. One last question about your overall strategy. Now, obviously, having your lower guys on your war map attack earlier helps out overall. Do you guys have some sort of a system to allow the lower guys to go first, or how do you work that?
Well, okay, here's how I can describe it. We have our own third-party app that we've been developing in-house it's kind of like Clash Caller, but it's only for OneHive people, and it's our own app that we use for it. Okay. And it's got a lot of built-in features in terms of claiming and marking stars and everything like that. But basically what we'll do, if it's a tough war, we'll always look at the 10s first, and we'll see, okay, which 10s do we think can be 2-starred by 9? And we'll pick, 3 or 4 of them, and then we'll pick some of our really consistent 9s that we trust to try to go up there and do it. And then, kind of like you were alluding to, we'll basically do all the 9s, and they're all kind of working at their same time. They'll hopefully within the first 12 to 16 hours, they will be all out of attacks. And while that's going on, we'll pick some 10s that we want to try to hit other 10s for 2s. So ideally what we're looking at 6 hours to 4 hours left in the war, the 9s are all done. They've all used their attacks. And hopefully all the 9s are 3'd and all the 10s are 2'd. And then we'll start letting the 10s go for 3s. Obviously sometimes things go wrong and we'll have to kind of adjust as we're going. But that's pretty much the way we sort out difficult wars.
Okay, yeah, that's a great answer. It makes a lot of sense, and I know for a lot of clans, including my own, I have an international clan, and it's just really hard to we usually war with about 1/4 Town Hall 9s of our war, and so if we have a 40-person war, we'll have 10 Town Hall 9s and 30 Town Hall 10s, and it's just really difficult to get all the 9s to get their attacks in, within the first 12 hours or whatever we try to do, just because of the international part. So it's something we're working on right now as well. Now, I guess I wanted to ask you one of the last questions is, how do you guys handle mismatches? Let's say you click the button now that you're warring with 10 Town Hall 10s, and you get matched up against a clan with 16 Town Hall 10s, and there's not a lot of viable options for Town Hall 9s to hit for 2 stars. How would you handle a war like that? Do you have any strategy that you implement?
See, that happens to us all the time because we have such high heroes. Like we have 7 or 8 of our 9s are 30 heroes. Like everyone's 20 plus heroes. So we usually get mismatched. That's typical. Okay. So right now we got a war. It's 9 versus 19 or 9 versus 20. So I mean that's kind of typical for us.
Wow. Okay.
So basically the way we do it is kind of similar to what I was saying. We're gonna pick out a couple 10s and we'll have the 9s come up, but we're also pretty. When we're going, see, you can look up everyone's war record now on that thing. So we pull up their war record and we see they're 96 and 80. We're really not that nervous that they're going to be able to 3-star our bases. So in situations like that, we'll have our 10s going for 3 the whole time, even though that means a lot of 0s and 1s, just because we're sure that our 9s are going to be able to hold. We're not too nervous about losing the war. So it really depends on the strength of the opponent, not just the town hall strength, but the actual warring ability strength, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. So if it's a clan that you're going up against with a really strong winning record,
Yeah.
then you would go ahead and play it a little bit more cautious. Is that what I'm hearing?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that makes a lot of sense as well. I guess my last question is about your base designs. Do you guys? I know you guys take a lot of pride in your defensive layouts. Do you have like a team that works on designing those bases and tweaking them, or how does that come about?
Yeah, absolutely. And same thing. That's kind of a tireless job. I think you got to be a special breed of person to really like base building. It's not my thing, but there are some people that are all about it, and they will just kind of spend hours and hours just planning it. I know before I just mentioned this, the FYSB war, we made every single Town Hall 9 be reevaluated by the base team and approved, and I personally think it won us the war. And because basically they had like nine Town Hall 9 bases they couldn't clear with their 9s, and they had to come down, and we only had 2 that we had to come down and hit. So that pretty much made the difference. It let our 10s get some 3-star attempts, and that's how we won. But so yeah, it's a team of people. They bounce ideas off each other, and they spend a lot of time kind of thinking about the metagame changes. There's been a lot of, I know Jake just did a video about Town Hall 9 design and how a lot of it's about balancing, actually not centralizing the queen anymore, putting her off to the side, making it so that way Golaloon's really difficult, and making the spring trap placement optimal. Like they spend hours looking at each base. I honestly don't understand it. I give them so much credit.
That is crazy. If you had to say, not to put you on the spot, but if you had to say one mistake that you see a lot in your average Town Hall 9 base, what would you say?
The biggest mistake I see, well, 2 of them now. One, if I see a symmetrical base, it's doomed. There's no chance it's going to work. Okay. Symmetrical bases pretty much mean that, there's going to be a weak point to it at that point. When it's asymmetrical, it really messes up the pathing. And I know it's tough for the human eye to kind of accept this kind of weird, funky base. But, yeah, there's that going on. Sorry about that.
No.
And secondly, now it seems having the queen offset is almost mandatory. You don't want her centered, because if they're centered, that lets the attacker choose which route to come in from, as opposed to the defender choosing where you come in.
Very good point there. That's actually something that I just learned as well, because conventional wisdom would say to centralize the queen, but that makes a lot of sense. You can dictate where the attacker comes in from. Very good tip there. Yeah. I guess thanks a lot, Tait. Before I let you go, do you have any? I know you're a teacher, right?
Yes. 2 weeks left.
Well, I feel for you, but then I'm jealous of your summer vacation as well. But do you have any book recommendations or music recommendation, if you'd rather, for the viewers?
Okay. Book recommendations. This is my favorite series, and it's an old series. It's called The Wheel of Time. It's
Robert Jordan, right?
Robert Jordan, yeah.
Sure.
My friend got me on that way back in middle school, but I've just gradually. I mean, I've read it through a couple times now. But that would be if you're a big fantasy guy. That's an awesome one. And music, gosh, I'm all over the board, but I'd probably say, I don't know. I'm old school, so I'm gonna go Zeppelin, like 2 or 4. Those are my favorite. I definitely like classic.
Can't go wrong with some Zeppelin. And it's for a fantasy series for you, if interested. It's called the First Law trilogy, or the First Law series, by an author named Joe Abercrombie. And very, very good. One of my favorites. So, and I also liked the Wheel of Time series. So, just one right back at you. And Tait, thanks again. I'm sure there was so much valuable stuff you brought to the table today. I'm sure the viewers are going to love it. And guys, check out his podcast, SNH Podcast. You can just Google SNH Podcast, and it's the first thing that comes up as well. So, Tait, thanks again, man. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Ash. It's been fun.
No problem.